When I learned this one trick, my playing went from being able to play a blues scale to being able to play bluesy. And I wouldn't say I'm a great blues player, but I'll tell you, it feels a lot better to do it this way. So I hope you get a lot out of this tip. In this video, we're gonna go over a really simple and easy tip that you can use while soloing over a blues and using the minor pentatonic scale to sound even more bluesy and make it work over dominant blues. That's blues with dominant chords or major chords. It's coming at you next. For the best guitar tips when it comes to ear training, soloing, technique, practicing, and more, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and check back every Tuesday for new content. And if you haven't already, be sure to click the link in the description and sign up to the mailing list to get on the early bird list for my very first instructional product, which is the Pentatonic shortcut. It goes beautifully with this video. So if you're at all interested in super fast learning the pentatonic scale and how to just open up the fretboard when it comes to soloing in any key using the pentatonic scale, this is the one for you. Okay, so the minor pentatonic scale, if you want to check back on my other videos on how to instantly solo in any key, parts 1 and parts 2, this is an extension to those. So in part 1, I went over box number 1, which is the most used soloing scale and the best one that I teach all my beginner students to solo on. So you want to know where the A notes are, and in this case they're here, here, and here. And the reason why we want to do that, this is an A minor pentatonic, which means that A is the root. What that means is that all of the other notes are trying to get back to A. A is home. So A minor pentatonic, the root is A. So the note after all of the A's in a minor pentatonic scale is a C note, but more importantly, the note that follows a root in a minor pentatonic scale is what's called the flat 3. And a flat 3 is a note that makes a scale sound minor. Flat 3 equals minor. Minor chords have a flat 3, minor scales have a flat 3. They also have a perfect fifth, but for this video, we'll just focus on the flat 3. If I'm playing over an A minor chord, then that flat 3, that C note, sound really nice. If I try and play the same thing over an A major chord or an A7, like over an A7 blues, it's not that it sounds bad, especially that higher one, but it seems to kind of stick out in a weird way. You can still use minor pentatonic over an A7. The trick for this video is if you know where your flat 3s are, you can bend them or slide them up a half step and they become 3s, and they will fit the A7 chord a lot better because a 7th chord has a root, a 3, a 5, and a flat 7. So by bending the flat 3, that minor note, into a 3, you make the pentatonic scale sound major. You're not getting a major pentatonic scale. That's a different scale altogether. I guess if we were to give this scale a name, we might call it a Mixolydian pentatonic scale. Music theory nerds, duke it out below in the comments. But here we go. So same scale, but now when I play the flat 3, I'm going to bend it or slide it up a half step. And you just notice it just gives it that little, that extra bite that you really need over the dominant chords. It sounds great. You don't have to do it all the time. The thing is that if you're playing over a blues, you have the A7, which is your 1 chord, and then the D chord is your 4, and the E7 is your 5. I would not recommend doing this trick when you're on those 2 chords, because you will play some really interesting dissonances. It will sound great over the 1 chord. For the 4 chord and the 5 chord, you can just stick right back to the plain minor pentatonic. So let's hear an example. A7. Notice I don't do it on this chord. Sounds great, right? Now, the thing is that if you know this well enough and you know how to change chords with the backing track, you can move this shape around. So when I'm on the A7, I can bend the flat 3s. But when the backing track goes up to D7, then I can move to a D minor pentatonic and bend its flat 3s. And then when it goes to the E7, you can go to the E minor pentatonic and bend its flat 3. So let's do it again, and I'm going to change with the chord and bend all the flat 3s so I perfectly match all the chords. It's going to sound super bluesy. All right, so leave a comment below. Let me know if you've used this in your playing or if you've stumbled upon any other cool tricks to sound more bluesy. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Josh Beatler with the Guitar Player School. Practice, rock on.